Alright guys, so before I start this video, I have to say that most Arkham games are garbage, okay? It's important. Basically what I'm saying is, if you're one of those people, right? And I use term people very loosely here, so people in quotations, you know. So if you're one of those people who praises every Arkham game and thinks that these games are perfect, and you know, if you're one of those people, right, you know, if you're one of those people, you know, who thinks that these games have no flaws, and like, you know, if you think that every Arkham game is good, okay, or even great, or even masterpiece, okay, so basically if you're one of those one-dimensional, okay, if you're one of those one-dimensional, thoughtless, low IQ, unintelligent people, in other words, if you're a fucking idiot, okay, so then you can go fuck yourself right away, okay, right away. And a lot of people probably will ask right now, why do I start this video so harshly, okay? This is what most people probably ask, and I will explain. Games like the thing is, that's what I noticed, because, you know, throughout my entire life I noticed one interesting thing, right? So when you criticize games, you know, when you shit on certain games or movies or whatever, you know, in this case let's talk about games because it's Arkham, it's games, right? So when you justifiably shit on games and point out their flaws, right? Basically, well, not and, I mean, that that's what you do, you point out flaws. So you point out flaws, and the thing is, if game or a franchise of games, in this case, right, if game or a franchise of games, or, you know, movies or whatever, but as I said, yeah, let's talk about games. So when it's very popular, whether or not it deserves to be so popular is another question, but when it's so popular and beloved by many, and when you criticize it, right, and not even, and the funny thing is, you don't I basically, yeah, when you criticize a game, right, people butt hurt, okay, well, people in quotations again, I'm talking about those people, you know, so people butt hurt, okay, and the funny thing is, I don't even attack people themselves, right? I'm saying what I think and feel about games that I played. I fucking played each of these games, okay? So I will take a shot at it, okay? I will take a shot at it, and I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks, okay? Here, because I noticed that when you criticize games or anything that's popular, when you criticize it, those people immediately attack you. Well, through the internet, of course, not in real life. Of course, not in real life, because I will beat your fucking ass. So yeah, these cowardly idiots use, you know, these cowardly internet idiots use anonymity as a way to attack you, simply because you say things that they don't want to hear about their favorite games. But here is the thing, I'm not saying that simply because you love bad games, and yes, most Arkham games are bad. Surprise, surprise, okay? So yeah, surprise, surprise, they're bad. If you love bad games, I'm not saying that you're a shitty person for that. I mean, I don't think that, okay? Simply because you love bad games. I mean, I love bad games. Some games from my childhood are very like The Incredibles, for example, right? Or The Incredibles Rise of the Underminer, or Sonic Heroes, okay? And more games. I've played more games, just off the top of my head, I don't remember. But I love bad games as well from my childhood, but it doesn't mean that, like, it doesn't mean that I should get butthurt simply because someone criticizes those games, and besides, they have a point. Most of those critiques are actually legit. Okay, so why should I butthurt? Okay, so, and this brings me to another point. It's when something becomes popular, it always makes me suspicious. Okay, I always think that if it's that popular, okay, and reason why I started off so harshly in this video is because Arkham games are extremely popular. Like, they get praised. They don't deserve this praise, but they get praised. So it always makes me suspicious about games like this, you know, that they might be overrated. Okay, so because most people are idiots, so they don't understand what real quality in video games is. So, but yeah, I started off that harshly because I know that most people will immediately butthurt. Okay, like when they see this video, they will butthurt. Like when they see this video, when they hear what I say, you know, they will butthurt, and they won't shy away from, you know, they won't hold back because, again, internet, right? Because as I said, internet, so so they will just basically say whatever the fuck they want, okay? And if they are going to do it, then, like, I'm thinking, why the fuck should I hold back? Okay, so I will do the same. I will say how I actually feel about these games. And yeah, let me pause this video. I will get back very soon. Okay, I'm back. So as I was saying, yeah, I will take a shot at these games, okay? I will take a shot at... Not okay, I mean... I will take a shot at these games, so... Take a shot. So... when you say things that people... like, when you say truth... When you say truth about things that people like... they become defensive. Which is weird, because how can you become defensive if nobody attacks you personally, right? So that's a you problem. As for Arkham games, it's suspicious because when every new game becomes praised, not just oh, it's alright, you know, it's not a bad sequel, you know, that kind of thing. But especially when legit every new game becomes praised, that's when it becomes suspicious, and that's what overrated means. Okay, games that pretty much either all games or virtually all games get praised. Okay, that's an overrated game franchise. It is impossible to make every new game really that good to deserve that amount of praise. Like, you know, it's there's something wrong with it. Like when that happens. So, and so I figured, I actually, you know, just recently, right? I actually finished all Batman games just recently. So, and all those years I was aware of how popular these games are. Yet I never touched these games because I always thought they are overrated. Overrated also means when games really don't deserve praise that they get. That's what overrated means as well. So yeah, and Arkham games definitely fit this criteria, okay? Also, if you aren't complete idiots, you will understand what these images mean. So Michael Keaton is number one, right? He's number one. So then you have 90s animated series Batman. So he's number two, right? So he's number two. Then you have Shed, and then you have Snyderverse. So, you know, you get the idea, right? So, again, if you aren't complete idiots, right? So, anyway, again, if you're not complete idiots, you get, so. If you aren't complete idiots, let's start with the best. Like, where do we start, really? I feel like we should start with Asylum, I think. Actually, no, wait, that would be easier if I, no, Arkham City, right? Yeah. So yeah, Arkham City. Easily the best Arkham game. Actually, the only Arkham game that I really enjoyed. Okay, so like through and through. I mean, it had some bullshit moments, cheap moments as well, you know, here and there, you know. I will rank all of them and then I will explain what I like and what I dislike about these videos, not videos, I mean games. So, second best, probably Asylum. I mean, I guess if I just, I don't know, I guess if I had to pick, yeah. Okay, third game. Yeah, Origins, let me see. So okay. Origins, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're kind of interchangeable, I guess, but not really. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, I will explain it in detail why I put a. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, Origins should be on top. Like, it should be better than Asylum, I guess. I guess it should be, but I don't know. It's hard to decide. The thing is, okay, let me explain. You could like, the problem is the first game, right? It was Asylum was the first game, and you could at least excuse. Well, no, you shouldn't, but you could at least excuse developers for not understanding Batman yet, I guess. Even for it's really dumb. I mean, I don't know. They didn't include smoke bombs. They didn't include Batmobile. They didn't include ability to grappling hook mid-flight. They didn't include other of his gadgets. They a lot of moments where you don't know where to go and what to do. Which, well, actually, it's every Batman game has it. So, but you could at least say that, you know, it's the first game, right? You know, you could at least say that it's the first game. So, yeah. But with Origins was the third game. Okay. And by that time, developers already were already experienced, right? You would think, especially after Arkham City, because Arkham City and Arkham Asylum is night and day. Okay, it's night and day, and City is like by far so much better than all other Batman games, okay? Arkham games, specifically, of course. And Origins was after City, so you would think Origins would be even better, but it wasn't. Okay? It wasn't. Story was garbage. Basically, it was Joker again. It's repetitive, and I don't know. The problem is when you have big, epic, kind of grand, you know, stories like Arkham City, because every next movie should be even bigger and even more epic. But there is a limit to it, right? I think you can't make every next movie bigger and more epic. Eventually you will stop. So that's the problem with sequels, right? You have to one up the previous movie. Like, you have to do it. Why would you want to watch a sequel to perhaps original or or maybe a sequel to a sequel? So say in case like in this series of games, Arkham City is better than Arkham Asylum. Okay. It's better, and the third game was worse than a sequel, basically, right? So why would you want a game that is worse than sequel? You would want a game that is even bigger. It's even more epic, and the story itself should be more interesting. So yeah, as to why I can't decide, the problem is Arkham Origins is technically better than Arkham Asylum, but developers already had so much experience, and you would think they already know what Batman games should be like, and Arkham Origins just it was shit, right? Graphics actually were worse. It actually caught my eye when I played this game. Well, after I played Arkham City. So after I played Arkham City and I played Arkham Origins, graphics of Arkham Origins were horrible. They were horrible. I don't know. The game was also buggy. Arkham City wasn't buggy at all. I don't remember any moment where an enemy flies into the air, or Batman himself flies into the air. Like, I mean, there are no moments like this. The game was perfectly fine. It wasn't buggy at all. Origins was a buggy game. That alone probably makes it worse than Asylum, I guess. I guess it makes it worse than Asylum, and also the fact that this game has even more moments where you don't know where to do. Like Arkham games are very well known for where the fuck do I go moments, you know. So pretty much every Arkham game has moments like this, and a lot. Okay, where the fuck do I go? How do I get there? How do I get there? You know, what do I do? Right. So what do I do? And Arkham Origins has more moments like this, which is of course a bad thing. It's not a good thing. If player struggles to find something in your fucking shitty game, then it's your fault for not providing enough information. Because again, it's not obvious where to go in Arkham games at all. It's not obvious at all. Okay, it's not obvious at all. So for that, yeah, I guess Origins is even worse than Asylum actually. Asylum had moments where you don't know where to go, but honestly, it wasn't really that hard. It had like one moment where I needed help of Google, which is the only time I actually Googled information that I needed. It was how do I find Batcave entrance after I defeat Killer Croc. So because I left Killer Croc's lair, which you should not do, but the game doesn't tell you that. You just have to assume that entrance to the Batcave is located within Killer Croc's lair. And the reason why I left in the first place is because I remember in this game that there was a moment where actually for that reason alone, I think for that reason alone they probably tie. Yeah, honestly, I think they tie. Yeah, I can't. I think they tie, honestly. Yeah, let me. And they should be put here. Like, really. Yeah. Yeah, they should be put here. Yeah, they should be put here. Huge difference between Arkham City and these shitty games. So yeah, in Arkham Origins, combat system is still garbage. Pretty much. Also, combat system is garbage in all Arkham games. But in Arkham Origins, like reason why it's so low in this ranking is because they should have done better, both in terms of story and both in terms of gameplay, because they already had so much experience, but they just didn't. That's why it's no better than the first game. Arkham Asylum has more content, yes. After you finish the game, I mean, it has more content, like in form of challenges, but it doesn't have free roam. Well, I mean, technically it has a free roam, but it's lame. Arkham Origins, on the other hand, it has free roam, but it's not even interesting, or it's not engaging. Okay, it's not engaging, so it's not interesting, and it lacks challenges, right? Ability to beat up groups of enemies was literally one of the best things about Arkham City. Okay, and in Arkham Origins, you don't have it. There is no, like, the game doesn't give you any reason for you to want to go back to it. Right. The game also has way too many. Well, I mean, Arkham Asylum also has way too many villains, but Arkham Origins in general just is worse in that respect. And villains aren't even that interesting to begin with. How is Firefly an interesting villain? I mean, Bane is alright, okay. You know, Bane is alright, yeah. How is Firefly an interesting villain? And the fact that Joker, like in every game, in every single Arkham game, you would even think that Arkham Knight's main villain isn't Joker. Actually, it is Joker at the end, like at the very end, right? So at the end, Batman's final fight is Joker. You know, a fight that was important. I mean, Scarecrow is, he got his ass beat easily. So yeah, Joker is just more like, well, I have to admit that Joker is more interesting than Scarecrow. But I feel like it's repetitive, right? I would want a new, like, I would want another main villain, okay? Because it really feels like they're out of ideas. It really feels like they don't have any. It's like Batman has the biggest rogues gallery in the entire comic book world, right? So superhero comic book world, I mean. So yeah, in comic book world, he has the biggest amount of, like, the largest rogues gallery. And you are telling me that out of all these villains, you can only have Joker as the main villain? Like, are you serious? So yeah, and I were comparing Asylum and Origins. Honestly, it's a tie. It's a tie to me. Asylum was the first game, so it doesn't justify the actions. That's the thing, because Smoke Bomb is just as, well, maybe not just as iconic, but it's iconic, okay? Smoke Bomb is just as iconic as Batarangs. And Batmobile is also just as iconic. And ability to grappling hook buildings mid-flight, or it seems like, well, mid-fall. Yeah, mid-fall. It seems so obvious, yet it's not in the game. So these things are obvious. You cannot excuse them simply because it was the first game. You cannot excuse them simply because it was the first game. No. No, and Origins had shit ton of time. Like they had shit ton of time to make it a better game because they already, again, they should have learned from their mistakes. But as it turned out, Origins is just like City but worse. So I don't know. As for graphics, and I don't care about graphics. Here, okay. Here's the thing, right? It's important. It's important. I have to explain that I don't care about graphics in video games. But you have to understand that when it's a sequel, everything should be better. Okay, including graphics. Okay, so in Arkham Origins, graphics are actually, like, they actually became worse. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because of the snow, maybe that's why, but I don't think so. I mean they, like, the game like it honestly looks worse than Arkham City. It looks worse than Arkham City. I mean, it's kind of like Asylum, really. But even Asylum, I think, I enjoy it visually for the most part. I mean, I could tell it was all graphics, yes, but it didn't annoy me. Okay, Origins graphics annoyed me, and within context of the fact that it's a sequel to a sequel, right? So that made it even worse. Batman costumes also suck in pretty much all Arkham games, including City, but City is relatively okay, so that's also a bonus. That's also a bonus for this game. City in general, it seems like it has done a lot of things that just were right, you know. Let's talk about City, really. I will leave Arkham Knight the last. So City, I like story, okay, so I like the fact that you have Hugo Strange, who isn't the kind of villain, it's not even the kind of villain you really see that often, you know, with Batman. He's Batman's villain, but you don't see him that often, really. So I like that. I like the idea that there was this kind of prison inside of Gotham City, right? Surrounded by walls, and you cannot escape it, and you cannot enter it. So I like that. Even though I have issues with the fact that the game never actually explains it to you how Hugo Strange even managed to capture Bruce Wayne. Especially since Bruce Wayne should have bodyguards as well, right? When he goes out, I mean, he has to have bodyguards, right? So, yeah, he has to have bodyguards, but it's definitely an issue. It should have been explained. But I like the idea. Okay, let's just put it this way. So yeah, let's just put it this way. And Batman, and then you have a lot of other villains in this prison. So it's kind of like a huge. It's going to be a long night for Batman, you know. So I liked that part. At the end, it turns out Ra's al Ghul was behind it all. Another problem I have is that Ra's al Ghul kills Hugo Strange for some reason, and the game doesn't actually explain it. Basically, Ra's al Ghul says something like, basically Hugo Strange didn't fulfill his full expectations and other shit. In other words, okay, to translate what that means, it means that we need to get rid of Hugo Strange so that he doesn't appear in future games. But we need to get rid of him in such a way that there is no coming back from it. You know, even for it's a Batman game where people can come back from death. So because Lazarus Pit exists. But yeah, Hugo Strange had to die. Batman won't kill him, and if he doesn't kill him, there is always a possibility that Hugo Strange can return, right? And we don't want that, right? So how do we make it so Hugo Strange doesn't return and we make it seem believable? Well, it's simple, right? We just make Ra's al Ghul kill him for some reason. So this is a dumb part. Also, I'm not sure what exactly Ra's al Ghul. Well, I mean, he wants to get rid of these criminals, right? So there is this prison, but it's like, it's really fucking dumb. I mean, he doesn't have to do it. He has so many resources. So I mean, he kills people. He kills criminals all the time. So he could just kill those criminals. He doesn't have to build prison. So I mean, okay, that is a dumb part. But yeah, anyway, I also didn't like the fact that some moments are just way too convenient. Like, for example, that assassin woman, one of Ra's al Ghul's warriors, she overheard Batman saying that he has to find Ra's al Ghul. So that was very plot convenient, you know. And also the fact that Mr. Freeze just happened to slam Penguin against that glass, you know, that contained this warrior woman, you know, so that she could finally escape. So it was very plot convenient, yes. So so yeah, Arkham City also has issues, like that's a thing. So yeah, what I like, well, I mean, I don't like, okay, so Joker is villain again, okay? I can kind of, I mean, I can, well, to be fair, it was kind of interesting, I guess. Plot in Arkham Asylum was also somewhat interesting. It never appeared in comic books, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Joker wanted his own army of basically Banes. You know, basically that's what he wanted. That was it's interesting enough. Okay, let's just say it. Yeah, let's just say it. So I like that. I liked story of Arkham Asylum just enough. Arkham City I liked better. Arkham Origins was just dumb. It was first of all, it was a prequel. Even for we did not need it. Okay. Another thing I don't like about Arkham games is that there is no reason why Batman can't just have all of these gadgets on him at all times right away. Not right away, I mean from the get-go. Okay, that's another thing that I don't like. Okay, let's put Arkham Knight. Yeah. Actually, no. Well, I mean, I guess I will. Man. I don't know. The thing about Arkham Knight, I have, and I don't like when games do this, is when it's very promising at the very start, right? It looks awesome, and it starts awesome, in terms of story, and gameplay is engaging at the start. It's interesting, it's fun, it's interesting. So, but then when the story progresses, it becomes dumber and dumber and dumber, right? So, and the game overwhelms you, right? It's kind of similar. Like this is actually kind of similar to Halo games, because most Halo games campaigns are absolute shit. Okay, so it's kind of similar. Halo games also get praised, so it's the same thing. They're also extremely overrated. Okay. So it's kind of similar. Okay. Like I liked Halo 2 until you get to Gravemind. I liked some parts of Halo Reach, and I liked the start of Halo 4. But then, somewhere in the middle, it stops being a good game. Right? It overwhelms you. It has nothing to do with skill, it's just the game just overwhelms you with enemies, and they have a lot of health and all of the chat. So Arkham games are actually kind of similar in that respect, because the fourth game is it also somewhere around the middle. Okay, up until the middle. Okay, around the middle it's interesting, and then it becomes bad. It becomes bad. Like it's absolute shit. Okay. Batman allowed Scarecrow to escape 3 fucking times. The first time, it was literally just the first time he meets him, he's like turns his back on Scarecrow. And what do you think? What do you think Batman? What do you think Scarecrow would do? I mean, what do you think? just walks away, just like that, and he closes the door behind Batman. Batman literally lets Scarecrow slip away between his fingers, right? He lets him slip away between his fingers. So it's retarded. Like if he just punched him like he always does. And the funny thing is, Batman always punches someone, right? And like he doesn't hesitate usually. Well, not usually, like for the most part. But there he doesn't do anything, so... And he just lets Scarecrow escape, just like that. The entire story, like realize how retarded the story is. The writing. How retarded the story is. The entire story would be finished in like a few hours of gameplay. If Batman wasn't a fucking idiot, okay? Second time he lets him escape when he gets injected with fear toxin. So his Joker comes out, right? So his Joker comes out. And the funny thing is, I mean, I guess you could explain it that... Well, not explain it, you could excuse it, okay? You could excuse it. Again, not that you have to. Again, not that you have to, but... not that you have to. Okay? Not that you have to, okay? But you like, he couldn't control himself anymore, and like... He saw Joker everywhere, so he let Scarecrow escape. Here's the thing, right? He saw Joker everywhere, right? He saw... Like, everyone was Joker to him. Which means Scarecrow should also have been Joker to him. And Batman beat everyone's ass in that room, except Scarecrow. So, if Batman beat everyone who he thought was Joker in that room, then you would think that he would also beat Scarecrow, whom he also saw as Joker, right? But he didn't do it because, again, he's a fucking idiot, right? He's a fucking idiot, right? So writing is terrible in this game. And the third time he lets him escape by saying, on your knees, you know, on your knees, instead of just, you know, like he gives him another warning. Like, don't make me repeat that. So instead of just closing the distance and punching Scarecrow. Again, Batman in these games never punches villains when when he really needs to. He doesn't do it, okay? When he doesn't have to do it, he does it. Okay, so I mean, I don't know, man. And basically he saves Barbara. Okay, but now Gordon is kidnapped. I'm like, fuck, give me a break. Okay, fuck, give me a break. I mean, Barbara is saved, but now Gordon is kidnapped. I mean, this is just, like, again, it's a horrible story. So. And also, Barbara shoots herself. Here's the thing, right? There is no blood when she shoots herself. So she isn't dead. If Batman had brains, okay, if he had brains, but again, Batman is a he's fucking idiot in this game, right? He's so he doesn't, stop there for a moment and, just think, right? And just think for a second, like, oh, just think for a second, like, oh, there is no blood. After Barbara shot herself. So, after Barbara shot herself, so, You know, that means she isn't dead. You know? For someone who calls himself the greatest, world's greatest detective. Again, for someone who calls himself, detective, Batman really isn't all that smart at all, right? So, I mean, it's obvious. And he doesn't think that well, I mean, and another thing, you know what else I don't like about this moment is that Barbara just I don't know, she just, I mean, we know she isn't dead, okay? Of course we know that she isn't dead. Developers wouldn't have balls to kill her off, okay? Okay, developers wouldn't have balls to kill her off, so so yeah, we know she isn't dead. So does she just play along? I mean, after she shoots herself, she just sits there like, I mean, why? Like, why? I mean, again, she isn't dead. Okay? Okay, so Arkham Knight has the same shitty combat. They improved one thing for when enemy lies on the ground, okay, you can actually continue to hit them, which is a good thing. Okay, so the problem is they added two other things that I really don't like about Arkham Knight. It's when enemy bear hugs Batman. Okay, you would think that when enemy bear hugs Batman, all other enemies would immediately attack him, right? But that doesn't happen. All you have to do when you're bear hugged is just keep pressing attack button, and Batman will just, like, nobody will attack him, okay, nobody will attack him. Batman will just beat enemy that bear hugs him. So my question is, what's the point to even add it other than, like, into the game, other than giving player additional combo string, okay? Like, there is no penalty. Like, if enemy bear hugs you, it should be a penalty, right? Like, you let him bear hug you, right? No, well, not bear hug you, you do it. You didn't counter his bear hug attempt. Bear hug attempt in time. So now you have to be punished for it. Yet the game doesn't punish you for it. Okay, so again, my question is, what's the point? Like, again, what's the point? Like, what's the point, man? Like, another thing that they added was where enemy charges you and actually can ground you. Okay, so I hate it. I don't know. It wasn't needed. Okay. It wasn't needed. This game has by far the worst combat in the entire out of all other Arkham games. Okay, enemies everywhere, and they're more aggressive than in any other Arkham game. Like by the time you deliver one punch, they will attack you. Like you will barely be able to counter them. You will barely be able to counter them. You literally can't fight them normally, like in any other Arkham games, where you have a free flow combat, right? And it's not that hard. It's not that hard. So I was forced actually to play dirty. I was playing cheap and unfair. You know that move that Batman does when he jumps over his enemies, right? So I never used this move in any other Arkham game because it's too easy. You know, it's too easy. It's cheap. It's cheap. It's unfair. And the Arkham Knight, okay, Arkham Knight is the first game where I was forced basically to use it if I wanted to win, because it was impossible to have a free flow combat normally. Because it was impossible to have a free flow combat normally, so I was playing cheap and unfair. Okay, I was playing unfair. But that's because the game itself is unfair, okay? I was playing unfair. But that's because the game itself is unfair, so yeah. Arkham Knight also doesn't let you play as Robin, Nightwing, you know, Catwoman. Even for no, it doesn't let you play as Robin, Nightwing, and Catwoman. Even throughout the game, you occasionally can't fight with them. Okay, so you can actually play as them as well, which means that you can, like, it's possible to play as them in this game. Yet developers don't let you pick those characters. When you want to play in, you know, free roam of this game, right? But why don't they let you? I mean, Catwoman doesn't even have, you know, kind of like detective vision, kind of like detective vision like she had in Arkham City. So in this game she doesn't have it. That's how lazy developers are. Okay, that's how lazy developers are. And to make it even worse, you can't even play as her in free roam. So that's how lazy developers are. Okay, that's how lazy developers are. So it's even worse. So it's even worse. so it's even worse. Anyway. Anyway, I don't know if anything, if I want to say anything else. If I want to say anything else, I mean, Joker became too much already by the second game, okay? But you could at least, at least, like, okay, you know, accept it. You could at least, I could at least, yeah. But in Arkham Origins, okay? Joker is just, it's way too much. It's way too much. I mean, you can also play as him in that game, yet they don't let you do it in free roam. You can also play as Joker in Arkham Knight, and developers don't let you. Also in that game, they don't let you play as him